I'm Hayden McCall. I start technology and business. Talking today with Tom Skotidas. Skotidas is a social media agency in the B2B space. We've been knocking around the idea and concept of personal brand within social networking, and in particular, I guess, the sophistication that's going on within the IT sector in that selling model. Tom, you've talked about some really pragmatic tips for salespeople involved in the IT sector and around just, I guess, setting themselves up for credibility and reputation within that B2B construct. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, in the B2B segment, most deal flow is the result of human-to-human interaction, person-to-person. Always has been, always will be. It's a reality that everybody in B2B realizes instinctively, but in a social network, we find that corporate brands are the brands that are playing the biggest role, and what is needed is a mind shift that if person-to-person is the dominant engagement model in real-life B2B, then mimic that in a social network, which were built from the ground up for person-to-person engagement. So I actually believe that social networks were made for B2B, not for B2C, because of that alignment of person to person. So it makes sense that any organization in business to business should invest in the personal social profiles of their sales force at least, and enable them to build that trust and credibility by sharing content with them, which they can then distribute to their connections and within groups. This mimics how real life works, and it actually creates extraordinary differentiation compared to your competitors, and allows your buyers to understand who they can trust in terms of that early decision-making process.
Okay. So in terms of practical tips, Joe Salesman is out there. Maybe he's got his LinkedIn profile set up. He's maybe doing some stuff on Twitter. Doesn't really know what he's doing. What would you say? Just mature that presence in social networks. What are some easy things? Just some practical stuff. What handle should he use? Where does his Facebook profile come into it? His or her, I should say.
That's right. Yeah. So look, I think that Facebook was made for person-to-person engagement, but on a personal level, there's very little business-to-business engagement in a professional context on Facebook. So I'd recommend using Facebook for your personal content and for friends and family. And also on Twitter, if you want to have that personal engagement with friends and family, use a made-up handle. But for your own first and last name, I believe that because business is such a big part of our lives as sales professionals, use your first and last name in a professional context on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Google+, on Quora, on other network sites that your buyers are present.
Okay, so go out there with your own personal brand as a professional asset, I guess.
Absolutely. Just think of yourself as a doctor, really, and there's a hospital right behind you that's supporting you with equipment and funding and capability. But you effectively, in today's age, you have to become a surgeon. And when you're approaching buyers, they have to perceive you as being a surgeon who can deliver the insights and value that goes beyond what they can get readily using the internet. So to do that, you need to build your actual name and the attributes around your name to reflect your portfolio, your industry, and your company.
Okay, some great practical tips straight out from Skotidas. Thanks very much,
Thanks,
Tom, and good to talk to you.